controversial preacher Paul Mackenzie does not own the piece of land where hundreds of his followers were buried. Lawyers representing the government say Mackenzie, alongside other people, invaded the land as squatters and were occupying the space against the law. And as reporter Henry Tende now files, Shakahola land is part of the Shakama Ranch under the ownership of Shakama Ranching Company Limited that has 50 shareholders.
Regarding regulatory framework.
On Wednesday, the Senate committee investigating the Shakahola massacre met with the Shakama Ranching Company, the Law Society of Kenya (LSK), lawyers representing the government, Amnesty International and the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights in continued efforts to unravel the mystery behind the heinous act.
About 6 issues.
It has now been revealed that the Good News International controversial preacher Paul Mackenzie, who is in custody for Shakahola massacre, is not the owner of the piece of land where thousands of his followers were buried. Mackenzie, alongside other people, are deemed squatters who have been occupying the said land illegally.
There were squatters on the ranch and we therefore held discussions with the contributories of the company who assured us that they would look into the issue with a view of reaching an agreement on the relocation of those squatters.
Documents that were presented before the committee have established the Shakahola piece of land is part of the Chakama land located in Kilifi that is under the ownership of Shakama Ranching Company Limited, which has 50 shareholders.
This committee can give me time. I can be able to avail information in regard to the case that was filed in Malindi. And any other information that this committee would need, I can be able to avail it on Monday.
Appearing before the committee, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights has termed the Shakahola massacre a serious violation of human rights and has demanded thorough investigations to bring perpetrators to book.
We call upon the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government to sanction all security officers and national administration officers under whose care this happened, and their acts of commission and omission that would have aided or facilitated this massacre. And we ask that they be charged with criminal negligence.
Law Society of Kenya is of the opinion that religious leaders' conduct should be regulated to prevent another case of Shakahola from happening.
With my speaker and my microphone, standing on a street and expressing my religious views, I'm protected under the Constitution to express those views. But as I gather more people to join in assembly with me to express those religious organizations, then at that point, there must be some sort of regulation, because it ceases being just merely an expression of a religious view, but it becomes now an association of people expressing a particular religious view, and so that those people, therefore, must be regulated.
Amnesty International, however, taking a different view, insisting on self-regulation of religious leaders within the framework of enhanced guidelines.
This is a sensitive issue, and I think in many ways, as we've mentioned, a statement that establishes by the religious leaders a doctrine of faith, a doctrine of duty of care, the funding sources, church leaders, the leadership of the church and the activities that they are running, and guidelines on the training or certification of religious leaders is now critical for our country.
The Senate committee has 21 days to finalize its hearing before preparing the inquiry report into the Shakahola massacre. Henry Tende, Look Up TV.
Thank you very much, Henry Tende, for that particular story. Moving forward, Kitui East MP, that is Nimrod Mba,